Hello there, my name is Adam Perez, and I will be speaking to you today about the aspects and the differences of both styles of driving, and hoping to persuade you into a more defensive style of driving. Now, what if I gave you this scenario? You're in your car with some friends, standard day out. You're about to make it to a four-way stop, and you decide, you take a quick scan around, you see nothing. No cars, no cops. So you say, I can run it. And that's what you decide to do. But what you fail to see is that there was a car waiting at the stop. They were just covered up by some bushes and a tree. You failed to see them, and they were crossing the four-way intersection at the exact same time that you decided to run it. So you hit them, and you've just T-boned a family of four. And two of them were sent to the hospital because you just couldn't wait. This is aggressive driving, and this is one of the many scenarios that it can lead you to. The reason I give you such a vivid picture is because I was in an accident or a situation similar to that one. I was in my car here with my father in the passenger side at a four-way intersection and or a four-way stop, and a car decided to run it and nearly hit me on my side of the door. And I was terrified, mortified, because it was almost my first accident. So I, I didn't want to drive anymore for days. And sometimes I don't like crossing that intersection, but it made me think. I had to be more cautious when I drive because nobody else is going to be cautious for me. Which leads me to my thesis, which is I hope to persuade you on to be a more defensive driver by telling you the risks of how to be, or the risks of being an aggressive driver, the aspects of being a defensive and aggressive driver, and how easy it is to actually turn yourself into a defensive driver. Now, driving fast here and there can't hurt, but it can actually, because that leads me on to my first point: the risks of being an aggressive driver. First off, you increase your chances of being in an accident. Being an aggressive driver doesn't mean you're just angry, full of rage, honking at everyone. No. According to mechanic.com, being an aggressive driver also means failing to use your turn signals. And failing to use your turn signals does not give the person behind you enough time to react if you are making a sudden turn or if you're going to make any turn or lane change, which can lead them into rear-ending you, which is no fun for either side. It also increases the likelihood of you getting a ticket or a speeding violation. From the same source, they stated that over the last 20 years, it has being an aggressive driver has been one of the main causes that of serious car accidents and crimes. But well, what's the difference between both types of driving? Well, I'll tell you. Which leads me on to my second point: the aspects of the aspects of both styles of driving. Being an aggressive driver damages your car. It damages the brakes of your car because aggressive drivers have the tendency to speed, and they do not give, and when you speed, you have to give yourself a wider window to brake, and so you make a smooth stop. Aggressive drivers don't do that, so they end up damaging the brakes of their car. The reason I know this is because my sibling is an aggressive driver. His brakes do not last him more than a year. They always have to be changed out because he doesn't give himself enough room. And driving defensively, according to myimprov.com, can actually have your insurance company give you discounts because being a defensive driver means that you're less likely to get into an accident that you caused, You have upward mobility within your work environment, especially if you have a, a job where you have to drive the company vehicle. It means they trust you more if you are a defensive driver, which means you might get that promotion sooner. And taking defensive driving courses can actually remove some of those not so pretty violations from your record. Okay, and let's say you're already an anger filled, aggressive driver. How can you change it? Well, I'll tell you with my final point how easy it is to become a defensive driver. According to the same source, myimprov.com, in the state of California, a defensive driving course costs from an average of $20 to $25. Simple. And another easy method comes from this. This is the tests they give you at the DMV for your learner's permit. You can also find this information in the pamphlets you get at the DMV to teach you how to drive to prepare you for the test. They tell you about the 3-second rule, where you're driving behind a car, you spot an object in the road, a lamppost or something. The car in front of you, as soon as they pass it, you count to 3. 1, 2, 3. And within those 3 seconds, say you're at 2 seconds and you already passed the lamppost, you're too close to them. You gotta slow it down. And if you make it to 4 seconds, you're fine. A little close, but you're fine. So that's how easy it is to really become a defensive driver. In conclusion, I've spoken to you today about the risks of being an aggressive driver, how both aspects of driving actually affect your life, and how easy it is actually to become a defensive driver. And I hope that what I have said today, you've taken to heart. And I'll leave you off with this. If you're going somewhere that's 30 minutes away, take 40. Take your time to get there. Those 10 extra minutes that you end up waiting could be the difference between you getting there safely and a fatal car accident. Thank you.